Hi to everyone, new day. So recently I got the oil change replacement, and while I was heading to the mechanic, so I discovered my AC is not working. So actually when I start the car, nothing happens. So AC is not blowing the cold air, and so when we did the oil change, we briefly check it, and as soon I'll move this regulator, there's supposed to be a click under the hood somewhere. I believe that's supposed to be the solenoid. So right now I'm going to the shop, and we're gonna see why the AC is not working. So I assume that might be the refrigerant leak, because I wasn't really satisfied how the AC was behaving recently. Plus, I don't have any history on this car, so we're gonna find out what's the problem here. Okay, so far connected the low side, and it's showing near the zero value. Yeah, that's what I assumed, probably refrigerant leak somewhere. And the high side is also almost a zero, so probably there is a leak for sure. It's only 2 psi. Hopefully it's not the evaporator core. Okay, I was gonna do the vacuum test and leak test. Probably they're gonna. Okay, now we're going for the leak test for 10 minutes. So right now we see the system is pumped down to 30-inch water column, and I want this needle stay here, so I don't want it move, because if it will gonna rise, that will show up that we still has a leak. But because I think the leak might be on the shredder core valve, because there is oil around, we have a chance that if we replace it, it's gonna hold. Because right now it's not gonna leak because there is a manifold connected to the ports, and that will keep the problem. Yeah, but so far I can tell you from my air conditioning experience, so it's, even if it's moving very slow. So probably have a chance that the leak is small and most likely on the core valve. Another thing which concerns me, that it happens like very fast. After I drove the car, everything was okay, and then just boom, and I feel there is no AC. Yeah, I know. So leak test passed, so it's probably shredder valve. So exactly what I was taught. So as soon we put the gauge and did every test, so it's passed the test. And the reason why it passed the test, because when you put the gauge has its own seal, which is this seal, if it's even leaking, it's not avoiding the procedure. And as a confirmation, I can tell you from my air conditioning experience, we see the oil at the port, and that's usually the very first indicator that you have refrigerant leak in this area. So our plan is to replace the core valves and make the vacuum and recharge the system. That's the actually how the gasket looks like. Oh, the gasket is old, and this one right here, because when you're pressing the valve, this bottom part goes down, and there is the gasket which is completely shot. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So you see, because of someone probably did improperly the recharge or something, we have like not even contact at the bottom. So you see this rubber, that's how we got a leak. You see right now it goes down, but it resists from the full clothing. So maybe even this shredder valve is okay, but if we have the brand new, we can just replace it. So right now just cleaning the thread, because we don't want to have any additional piece of rubber sticking inside. But so far looks clean. The second one looks also clean, but we're gonna. And also you can see the right side is the brand new valve, and this is the which was on the other side but was not leaking. If we will not find the second one, because we have only one brand new like this one, we're probably gonna reuse the one which was on the high side right here, and we'll maybe just swap the round gasket. So because we don't have the second shredder valve, we're just gonna swap the rubber from the old one, which has a different thread. I'll try to get it out. And then we're gonna place it right here. Yeah, but it looks like the shredder valve is a bit different, because this this gasket is round, and basically it's not going inside. So we're just hitting the thread, and if you're gonna push it, that it will gonna snap from the place. That's why we're gonna reuse the original shredder valve. Okay, we just put original shredder valve, which was here, but from the high side I removed that extra piece of rubber which is stuck on the lower part of the shredder valve, and after that I believe it shouldn't leak. And I have a theory why this car is why this feels like it happens just like that. Because when you have the low level of refrigerant, the evaporator core inside of the car starts to freezing up, and then the air crossing that near the frosty evaporator, that gives the cold air. So another indicator that potentially there is a problem if the evaporator core gets frozen. After you shut off the car, you see a lot of condensation coming from the car. That tells us the evaporator core probably was frozen. Okay, making the second time vacuum without leak test, because we eventually found the reason for the leak. So now selecting the amount of refrigerant which we're gonna charge, and according to the car sticker it's supposed to be 700 grams plus minus 10 grams. But this specific machine is a little bit off, and that's why we are putting the 740 grams of a 134 A refrigerant, and about 110 milliliter of the oil, because according to the information from the mechanic, he told that during the evacuation process with this special machine it's taking out the oil. That's why it's important to always put back some amount of refrigerant. Okay, just finishing up the whole setup. And pressing start button, and machine start to injecting oil. So very interesting how this machine works. It works really fast and almost quiet, so you almost cannot see it. So that's the old oil which was drained from the car, and the new oil gonna be put it inside of the car. So it doesn't look dirty or old to me, but whatever. Okay, right now charging process started, refrigerant starts coming to the system, and here we can see the amount of refrigerant going inside, going pretty fast. If you don't see on the screen on the gauges, you probably might not recognize that this machine is running. I was very impressed. You cannot even tell that it's running right now. So this is the high PSI, low PSI. And let's fire up, then we'll see the difference in the pressure. So the pressure changes. That's good. That tells us that compressor is running. So basically right here, if the compressor is completely healthy, it should be around like 30, and here is around 15. So but we have the little bit of split difference, but still in a range, which tells us the compressor are still alive. Now we see is ice cold, the ice cold AC. Yeah, that's a great feeling. So the main thing, so I'm glad that there is no additional leaks. So actually the only leak was on that shredder valve bottom part, because the internal piece of rubber stuck in there. That caused the refrigerant gone from the system. And also that's why I found that high side port in oil, because compressor refrigerant is mixed with the oil, and it's kind of the vapor, oily vapor, and if it's sipping from some place, it starts to sipping out that oil spots, oil particles. That's how you can tell that there is a leak. Now we just remove the high side, and it equalizes the hoses, and it's asking to disconnect the low side hose. Connected the low side hose, the system is clearing the amount of refrigerant which is left inside to avoid the refrigerant circulation to the atmosphere. So basically right now what I want to see, I don't want to see any bubbles right here. This one is probably still leaking something. Maybe I can a little bit tighten it, because the original gasket is not perfect. But sometimes it might do the same. And after that I started the process to finding the exactly correct valve, which wasn't easy. So I spent a lot of time on the internet just looking at the models that we have. Even bought one model which you will see in the video will not fit, and also later I bought two core removal tools, and this is the one of the which was helped me, and another one I returned because it wasn't useful.